What's up? This your boy Elijah. Welcome back to another edition of Glenn's is How I See It, and another episode of Humble Dad. Have a special guest in the building. My homie, my friend. He might as well be a brother to me. He's a church member with me. He is even a coach to my son when I can't be a coach because kids don't necessarily listen to their fathers. From afar, I've always admired how he interacts with other kids as well as his own kids. And it's none other than Mr. Tommy.
What's up, man?
I'm good, dude. How are you?
I'm good.
I like that beard. I wish I could do that.
Hey, man.
Get that white, though. So let's get started, bro. So, first question I always ask is, what do you feel like the difference between a dad and a father is? Or do you feel like there isn't a difference?
Well, I think the difference is your involvement in a kid's life. Some people say that's my dad, the one that's involved in my life. Some people say it's my father. But I think the difference is you could put the name on my definition. Either name on my definition, but I think it's the involvement in a kid's life.
So regardless of what the title is, it's about what man is being involved in this kid's life.
Yeah, it could be a biological father, dad, whatever you want to say, or it could be just an individual coach, a pastor, a youth pastor of the church. It could be any male that's in a person's life. I've seen them. They call him father. That's my dad. So you could use either name for my definition of it. So that's the way I look at it.
That's dope. This is my definition, and you can choose which one of those words you want to put for my definition.
I mean, really, a title. It's just a title.
Okay.
It's a title. It's a title that you're given. And that's the way I look at it.
That's what's up. So I want to take me back. I want you to take us back to when you were a kid. And so who was that to you?
Well, I have many. Besides my father, I have many. I've had coaches, my track coach, Coach Haynes. I've had people in the church that I grew up. Because I think it takes more than just one person to raise a child, and it's so many, and I was able to take different stuff from different individuals to grow. But besides my dad, which I took majority of my what I do, what you see me do, I took most of it from him. But there's just other people that I just took different stuff from, and I guess you could say claim it as mine.
Okay, so what's some things so take me back to elementary. Who was that person? Middle school, who was that person? High school, what is it that you remember that they said that you remember that you're using that currently?
Being that I was in sports a lot, I can't really think anybody outside of my church that when I was in elementary school. There was a principal that he got my interest. The way his style of being a teacher and a principal.
Okay.
That was back when you could use a paddle.
I know.
Yeah. And he had painted his paddle, and he would talk to his paddle. But I mean, his was more on the discipline side, and I don't want to get in trouble. And on top of that, my mom was in the school system, and a lot of people knew my mom, and it was, I'm gonna tell your mom. But now going on to junior high, once again, my mom was the secretary at the school I was at. But I had people like Coach Brown. who was his mother and father were my neighbor right across the street.
Wow. Okay.
Who, people like that. Then you go on to high school. Once again, there's my English teacher was my church member.
Oh wow. Wow.
And once again, coaches. The people knew my family, my mom, because she was in the school system, and my dad, based on some things that he had done at Baylor. So
hold on real quick.
Okay.
I'll be right there. Yeah. Wow. She wanted me to open up her candy.
Hey man, I've been in that boat. I've been there. Sure. I'm still in that boat.
That's what's up. So at Baylor, what was going on?
Well, my father was at Baylor.
Okay.
And just a little side note, he was the first Black scholarship player ever to go to Baylor, and Black basketball player.
What?
At Baylor. So he was kind of known in Waco.
Okay.
So being in that situation, I had a lot of people that were, hey, you're Tommy Bowman, you're Jackie Bowman's son. I'm like, yes, yeah. I know your mama. I was like, okay. So
there was accountability like everywhere you went.
Oh yes. And then with my high school coach, he played pickup ball with my dad, so he knew my dad. So there was no way of me sneaking around and trying to do anything.
Wow.
Wow.
So when you got to, I'm sorry to cut you off, when you got to like all of these different points, who was the person that you could say, or what is it that was being taught to you if you was always basically with your head on a swivel? Like
be on my P's and Q's. To not give up.
Okay.
To take pride in what you do. My track coach, which was, he was 5'6", 5'5". I told him I wasn't going to run track. He, in the middle of the hallway, went on a tirade on me, and I was like, "Look, I will be there
in front of people,
in front of other students."
Wow!
And I said, "I will be there. Just like stop. I will be there." But I was taught never to give up.
Okay.
And then high school wise, even though I had a bunch of great coaches, and there's still coaches that I talk to today, some go to church with my parents. To me, he was the best. He taught me how to be mentally prepared. And there, when something looked like it was, impossible, nothing was impossible. I could do anything. This man talked me into, doing events or doing stuff that I was like, I don't know about that. But he convinced me that it was Well, I was I was an 800-meter runner in high school.
Okay. Oh wow!
And I was on the mile relays team, and they put us in lane 8, and I'm like, that's way out there, coach. After he gave me his speech, a nice, calm, never yell speech, I was like, okay, I can do this. Okay. I can do this. And when I qualified for a regional track meet,
oh wow,
which nobody predicted me to do. Nobody predicted me to be in the top 5 in Central Texas.
Wow.
He believed in me, and when I won, he was the first person to greet me, and he picked me up. I'm 6'3". Yeah, he picked me up off the ground. He was the first person when I stepped off the track to congratulate me and said, I knew you could do it.
You still remember that? Wow.
Oh yeah, it's the stuff. See, that's what I try to bring to life with kids today is, stuff like that sticks with them. So
Yeah.
I try to be, I try to be an example, and I try to encourage. See, I realized, growing up that we were tough. We got the tough love.
We did. You realize that too? Yeah.
The tough love, and you got a pat on the back every now and then if you did something good.
Yeah.
But I realized that you got to give some a pat on the back regardless. They mess up. Hey, tell them what they did wrong. I know you can do it. Give them a pat on the back. Say, we get it next time. So I learned the tough love for them guys and my dad, and being in sports, because since like you said, I coach.
Yeah.
I coached Pee Wee football, and I still coach basketball now. And I know, and going around these kids, I see they need a little pat on the back. So
Yeah.
I can't beat them down all the time. I got to give them a pat on the back, even though I might say something to the point of, why didn't make the play? You need to do this and that. But then turn around, give them a pat on the back, and they'll remember what you said better than coaches just always negative.
I got you. So that's okay. I didn't even think about it like that. So that's also like the sense of touch, if you will. Like if I give you a pat on the back, like I never even thought about that. Like because I used to do high fives with my students in my class. Like if they did something crazy dope, and I was like, "Oh, that's what's up." Even though it's germs in school, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But I was like, high fives, bro.
Even when they mess up, you still gotta encourage a kid. I remember football practice, and I told the kid, make the tackle. He said, I could do it. I said, yeah, you could do it. I said, you can make the tackle. He got in there. Of course, it wasn't textbook. The kid failed. I said, see, you could do it. His eyes lit up. He was happy. It made, I don't know, I might have made his day.
Yeah, for sure.
And I mean, I'm not saying this kid he wasn't one of our better kids playing football, but it made his day.
Yeah. It's a big deal.
Yeah, to this day, I still have kids walking up to me. You remember when I played on the Hawks? I'm like, yeah, and you said such and such to me. I'm like, okay, I mean,
you may not even remember.
It's some of it I do, some of it I don't, but to them, it was a big deal.
Yeah.
Because some kids, this is it. That was it. They may never play football or another day in their life.
Wow. So what got you to be that type of person that was more of an encourager than tough love?
Well,
we usually coach how we were coached.
I do coach like I was coached. I am a intense person. My wife tells me sometimes I'm little. My wife tells me what I am feeling is on my face.
Really?
Yeah. So I am an intense coach. I'm intense. I get into what I do. But I have those moments when I realize, then I see a kid. When I see a kid, and you could tell when a kid, you can see it in the eyes when they're not feeling it. They're not, they're down. Then it clicks in me to give them a pat on the back. It's being a father, trial and error. I learned it here. I learned it from my dad. I learned it from here. Because I told my dad one day, I said, man, I know you think I wasn't listening. You talk to me. I act like I wasn't listening. I said, but I was listening, man. I was listening. And we see now me and my dad talk more now.
Really?
Than when I did. Yeah. Oh, we talk at least twice, maybe 3 times a day.
What?
Yeah. the least. And when I have a situation that I'm not sure about, I call him and I'll run it by him. He'll be like yes or no. And if he says yes, then I'm like, okay, I'll do it.
Wow.
That's my.
How did y'all get through that relationship?
How did we get there?
Yeah, because because that's not what I hear a lot of. So
A lot of heartache and pain. Don't in the beginning, probably till I was 25.
Okay.
I mean, yeah, we went places. We did things, but it wasn't a lot. And I'm not saying my father was a great father. Great father. He when he was able, he came to games. I mean, he surprised me, showed up to track meets. You know, he worked at nights.
Work nights and make a track meet?
Well, yeah, well, when I got to high school, he was working days.
Oh, okay.
But junior high, he worked nights, and so you know, he didn't get when he would show up, I was great. Oh, it meant the world to me for him to show up to anything I did. That's another reason why I try to show up to everything my kids do. Okay. Because I know how much it meant to me, and I know how much so I know it means a lot to them. You know, just it was like any father-son, you know, relationship. You know, you had your moments, good moments, bad moments, but it just kind of evolved into that. You know, we got to talking, and we'll talk, and now, you know, we'll really hang out. Matter of fact, my mom feels left out because I'll call my dad and say, "Mom, I need to talk to Dad real quick."
Oh my gosh!
and she was like, "Oh, I'll call," and she'll be like, "You want your daddy, don't you?" I'll be like, then I feel bad, but I mean, our relationship just evolved and got better, and now, literally, we may talk 3 times a day.
Wow, that's what's up. So as you get older and you start having your own kids, like how many do you have?
Well, I say I have 3.
Okay.
I have the oldest one, Taylor. I have Tyler, and I have my cousin Brianna that we moved in.
Okay.
And if you under my roof, you live under my roof, you're mine.
Oh wow.
You know, that's the way I look at it. If you come to my house, you know, to visit, at that moment in time, you're mine because you're gonna follow the same rules that my kid follows. Okay. And I don't, and that's another thing I got from my dad. You in my house, you follow the same rules that any one of my kids are gonna follow.
That's what's up. So as you become so you have the oldest, which is how old is he?
Brianna and Taylor 25. So okay, there's a big gap between the youngest one.
The youngest one is
12.
12. Okay. Wow. Yes, that is a big gap. So when you first came into or when they first got into your life, like what was the thought process or when you arrived? Were you excited about them being a part of the family? Was there a hesitant? Because some people may be hesitant. You know, like what was the transition to get your mind to like, okay, all right, I'm marrying her, my wife, but I also know that I'm gonna have another kid in the house.
Nah, there's my thing is I love kids.
Okay.
I got cousins. Brianna has a brother and a sister. I did stuff for them like they were mine before I got married. Okay. Taylor, when I was dating my wife, I drove to Waco every other weekend and I would watch him play baseball or football. Wow. So, you know, and then I don't know if you know the story, but my wife's mother and my dad worked together. So we knew each other. Oh, so wow. When she had Taylor, I knew Taylor. Taylor went to the same daycare my mom worked at. So he would be at my parents' house. I would open the front door and he would walk down the hall, and I'm like, whose child is this?
Wow.
And she told me. So I knew Taylor, you know, before he even got to first grade.
Golly.
So there was no hesitation. There was no getting to know somebody. It was like, hey, let's go.
That's what's up. So so then when so how old was he when you became you was married to his mother, to your wife?
I don't know. I know he was about third grade.
Like third grade, maybe 8, 9.
Yeah.
Right? So you became his father figure, or his father. You became his father. So like, what was the conversation? Was there a conversation around you're about to, this is about to be, you know, these are my rules? Like, how did that
no, because actually even before we got married, there's some certain things that we started doing. Like I noticed you know, little kids, as you know, me and you did, that we went to sleep in church when we were little.
Yeah.
You know, and this is something once again from my father. It's like, hey man, you need to go to bed so you can get up and stay up in church. And that's before we got married. And pretty much we had the same, me and my wife were on the same page. So the you know, the rules she had were the rules I went by, you know, and once we got married, it, you know, we had our little differences on discipline, but and then it also helped that Taylor was a good kid. Really didn't have no problems with, you know, really he wasn't a bad kid. So he listened.
Yeah, I've known him since about, he been in 7th grade, I think, and I always respected him as a young kid. So
you know, and we had we went and did our thing. I used to take him every Sunday after church. We used to get up and go anywhere. We'd go to the mall. We go to Target. We just go eat.
Isn't it crazy how they okay with that?
Yeah, he was just happy. He's a kid that likes to be out, so he was just happy to be out. And we have no destination. We would just go somewhere. We might not buy anything, but we'll just go walk around Target, and we would talk. We talk, and you know, we bonded that way.
Okay.
Of course, you know, like I say, he is one of the reasons I got into coaching football, because the guy didn't have no help. You know, got to spend time with Taylor, you know, and that gave us something. That's another thing we had in common. We talked football, and it helped our relationship grow.
Wow.
You know,
wow. That's what's up.
Yeah.
So then when he's maturing, and then by the time he is 12, 13, you have another one. Is that about right?
Yeah. Somewhere, yeah, about around there. He not, I'm bad with dates and times, man.
Well, I'm keeping up with your numbers. He's 25 and 11, so 14. He may have been 14.
Yeah, I think he was in junior. Yeah, he was in junior high school, junior high, somewhere, right?
So then when your youngest comes along, like that's a big gap. So what's the fatherly mindset when you have a preteen teenager, and now you have a newborn? Like, what's going on right there?
To me, the same. Me, the same. And once again, it was helpful that Taylor played a big brother role. So he, you know, he still does. Matter of fact, when I'm not even able to go to games, he's there. And we got those. We kind of got, me and Taylor bump heads, but we got the same mindset when it comes to stuff. So there's no drop off. And then with Tyler, he was brought up the same way. You know, hey, this is the rules, man. This is what you need to do, and this is how you're gonna treat people.
That's what's up.
So I don't try to treat him any different. Yes, he's younger, and I have to, and I have 2 totally different personalities that I have to deal with. With him, I might have to explain it a little bit more with Tyler and answer a few more questions. But I you know, I treat him the same, as well as Brianna. when she moved in, she knew the rules, and of course, as her being a girl, there's a few different things that we have to deal with, but the basic rules were the same for her. Hey,
wow, okay.
This is what we expect. This is what we want. And these basic rules are not going to change.
Okay, that's what's up. And so, okay, so as you are becoming or are a father, I would say, like, what was some of the events in the not necessarily in the transition, but as he's going through adolescency, what were some of the kind of conversations that you had to have? Even though he's a good kid, there had to be some type of conversations that you had to have. So what were some of those conversations that y'all had to somebody that may be struggling with a preteen or teenager?
Taylor had, and for lack of a better term, anger management issues.
Oh, okay.
He, being in sports, I told him, I say, man, you're short. There's gonna be people who want to pick on you. Yeah. And so he took that, which, I told him, I said, man, stand up for yourself. Don't start a fight. But I'm not gonna be mad if you don't finish it. Stand up for yourself.
Okay.
Well, he had to learn the difference between somebody just messing with you, trying to provoke you, versus somebody who's fighting you and you have to defend yourself.
Okay.
We had to work through it. He was quick to jump to a defensive mode and want to fight you, regardless you said something to him or you pushed him. And I had to teach him that, hey, there are times people are just trying to provoke you. Just walk away. Okay. Stuff like that. And I had to tell him there's times, because he's a very kind-hearted person and he's willing to help. There are people who are going to take your kindness and feel jealous or feel some type of way, and they're going to hate you. Just walk away. Stuff like that. So, be patient, think things out. I think that's the biggest advice I could give to him. I could give to any kid, and that's a lesson I've learned myself is think it out. And then, like I tell him, I said, listen, process, then react.
Listen, process, then react. Okay.
That'll keep you out of a whole lot of trouble, because if you go through those steps, you're processing it, and sometimes you have time to calm down.
Yeah.
And be like, okay, this is not worth me getting upset about.
Wow. Yeah. So when did you learn that? Listen, process, and then what's the last one? Listen, process, and then react.
React. I learned that. I learned after being an adult. Sometimes I don't follow my own advice. There's a couple times I haven't, but
yeah.
Yeah. I learned that. I learned that just being around kids, and then I learned that's the way I used to react. I used to do things, and it just hit me. That phrase hit me. And another phrase that I live by, and I try to teach kids is, I'm not going to be perfect. I'm never going to be perfect, but I'm going to keep striving to be perfect. So don't expect yourself to be perfect all the time, because some people think, well, I didn't do it right, I failed. No, you didn't fail, but you just keep on. If you keep on striving to be perfect,
that's a good point.
You'll never waver off that path. Even though you're not going to get there, but keep trying. And that's what I tell kids in sports or life: just keep trying. One day you might get there.
Yeah, the worst thing that can happen if you try, right, is that you figure out what you did wrong. Yeah. If you don't try, you don't even know what you could do right or wrong. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That's what we've been trying to teach our kids, like with Joshua. Like I don't think he'll ever forget that you came to his game and talked to him about how to block because he was one of their best blockers. You know, after you had that conversation, they actually the team usually ran to his side and the other guy's side. He was left tackle, so he would actually try to implement those things. And to my surprise, it was his favorite position.
Okay,
because he played 4 positions.
Yeah,
as a 9-year-old, but he enjoyed being the person that blocked.
We all got a role to play, and sometimes our role is not the flashy role. It's that get in the ditch and dig that hole and get dirty, type of thing. You're not always going to be the one that gets the glory, but eventually you will get it, and that's what I try to instill in my kids and other kids that I come in contact with is don't worry about getting that limelight now. Look for that reward later on down the line. Be humble, and it'll come out because I keep referring back to my dad because that's my mentor.
To do.
You look. You can ask me who's your mentor.
Yeah,
it's my dad. It's not Kobe Bryant. It's not Michael Jordan. It's not Denzel Washington. It's my dad. And now we have these. We had, I guess you'd call it a deep conversation the other day because of what he's done. He doesn't feel like he's done anything, and he thinks everybody. No, there's people who tell him, I went to this school because of you, and he does not believe that's happening. And I'm like, because you are humble, now you're getting your just reward. You didn't get it then, you getting it now.
Okay.
And I also told him, I said, man, this is not for you. This is for everybody around you. Everybody's giving your flowers to you now, but this is because we know you and what your accomplishment is. Everybody wants to be around you. This is just for them. So I try to stay humble and not, I don't worry about people coming up saying, man, you did a good job. Thank you, for this and that, Hey, I'm happy to see a kid go on and do something with his life. So actually, even though I have 3 kids in my house, every kid that I've coached and every kid that I come in contact with, they're like a kid. They're like mine. I treat them like, hey, like you say, your son was happy that I came over there watch and told him about blocking.
Yeah.
I mean, that's something I didn't think nothing about it. I'm just trying to, hey man, I want to help you get better so you can play a lot more than what you getting. And so you be ready for the next level. That's all my goal was,
So it's not about there's somebody else was saying that. I can't remember who it was, but I know Christ said it a lot, but I was just trying to think about somebody who's talking about when you bring value to people, things happen for you as a byproduct of you bringing value to people.
I believe that 100%. I believe it. Like my track coach, he had me believing. I mean, he had me believing I could run around the world. Because he made you seem like you were somebody. And he wasn't. If you didn't win not one medal, one event up to the district track meet, he didn't care. He said, my goal, I don't care. As long as you do the best, long as your time is better at the end than it was in the beginning. That's all that matters. That's all that matters.
That's a good point. Because we do focus on, even myself, we do focus on the overall, like at the end, right? Like we want the kid to, or we ourselves want to, our kids to have, like if we're talking about a test specifically, like we want them to do well on the test. But when they're doing these practice problems, we're not saying, oh, okay, I can see the improvement. And so they will ultimately, this is just me thinking about what you're saying. They will ultimately just focus on the end goal and not the process getting to the end goal. So that's probably one of the struggles I would say that I have as a dad, is that I don't spend enough time helping them enjoy the process to getting to the end goal.
And they're more receptive to the learning and the teachings of what you're giving them if it's enjoyable. Okay. You got to just like we weren't happy when our parents were talking to us. So what do? We turn them off.
To a degree, yeah.
To a degree, even though you hear them,
that backhand, bro. That backhand is close, man. Like,
yes.
I can't let them know that I'm not. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Oh, trust me. I got the backhand several times. But I realized, and it's just once again from my learning, my paying attention. Okay, somebody's making me feel good. I'm open. I'm receiving what they're saying. I'm processing it and I'm keeping it in my mind. So I've learned, you have to be with a kid. You have to, make it fun for them. There's times it's going to be tough, and I'll tell them. I say, hey, there are times it's going to be tough. There's times I'm going to yell. I'm not yelling out of anger. I'm yelling maybe to prove a point. I'm yelling to make sure I got your attention. Because like I had to tell Taylor, matter of fact, you're going to laugh at him. His first Pee Wee football game here, he made a mistake. He started panicking. He started hyperventilating.
Oh, man.
And it was like, he's all right. He did it again. Oh, they're coming. He's got asthma. No, he doesn't. I know what it is. He hadn't been in this type of situation where he had a coach yell. So I had to tell him, don't listen how he's saying it. Just listen to what he's saying. So he tuned out the yelling and listened to just the words. You can yell at him till the cows come home. He'd be like, okay. So with that, learning from that situation, learning from my situation and how I was dealing with kids also, that's where you got to give them a pat on the back. Sometimes you got to say it with a smile on your face. Sometimes you got to make a joke out of it. Yeah. They're so nervous. They're about to pop the top on their head. Make a joke about something so they calm down.
Yeah, the kids, as I've said this before, but this is my experience. Just as a teacher, the one thing that I saw in kids is that most of them want to know what they're doing wrong, right? Most of them want to learn. Now, they may not give you the enthusiasm of like wanting to learn, but what I remember and what I saw from most of them is that they lacked the perseverance, right? They didn't know, okay, well, if I persevered, I got to persevere to get to the point of where I want to get to.
Yeah.
I want to do well, right? I want to do well, but nobody's ever pushed me. You know what I'm saying? And so that is what I see even with my own kids. Like when I push them, they appreciate it. I remember one time I was I don't know if I shared this with you before, but it was when Gianna first started playing softball, and I was yelling at her because I was like, "You are not trying," right? And I'm seeing her effort, right? I'm looking at her effort, and she's not saying anything, and I yelled at her. That's what I thought. Well, for me, it was yelling because I don't yell a lot. So I'm yelling, and we get in the car, I think another day, and I was like, I want to apologize for yelling at you like that and whatever. And she was like, I didn't see you as yelling. I just seen you as trying to get me better. Right. And I was like, wow. So you saw through me yelling to just trying to listen to that. I'm just trying to help you get better. You talked to Josh, like he had a coach that yelled, right? And I was like, how do you feel about your coach yelling? I said, how do you feel about your coach yelling? He said, don't bother me. I'm just listening to what he's saying. Yeah. I was like,
yeah.
And so,
I mean, kids are smart. They're smart, man. You know, we don't give them as much credit as we should. I mean, I was telling this story today. I took Tyler, you know, the 12-year-old, when he was, I'm gonna say 9. I was refereeing a basketball game, and we have a little meeting after breaking down what happened. One of my co-officials was like, I didn't know how to handle this, coach. And my son said he was over there talking while the dude was shooting free throws. And I was like, shut up, man, shut up. We trying to, you know. And the guy was like, no, he's right. At 9, he was able to, you know, he was watching and he knew what was going on. And I was like, so when I got in the car, I said, because we call him dude. I said, dude, man, that's you know, hey man, my bad. But I like that. I like, you know, that means you were paying attention. I'm, you know, and that was a moment that man, he was happy. He was just happy to say that. Said, man, I like that you were paying attention. You know, but you know, like you said about the process, kids are not gonna show it to us because it's not cool. It's not cool to show that. That's another thing we got to make it cool. Hey man, make it cool to do the right thing. You know, the peer pressure is not, oh, I can't show that I appreciate my mother, my father, my teacher doing this for me. You know, you got some that will, but majority of them is not cool.
Yeah.
And that's why you don't see it. You know, and that's why they don't show it and share it. And then some kids, they really don't understand. And we yell at them. And what they need is somebody to sit down and go, this is what you did wrong. Break it down into steps.
Yeah.
Show them on video. You know, I mean, but there are times you have to give them that hard lesson. I gave Tyler a hard lesson earlier this year. I asked him, I said, do you really want to play basketball? Because if not, you can go sit down and do something else. You know, but that's what I mean. But one thing, and my boys will tell you this, and I told them all this: if you start something, you're going to finish it.
Okay.
So if you start a basketball season and it's not going right, well, you're going to finish that season. You don't have to play after that. Because Tyler he got frustrated at football. He's like, Dad, I can't run the ball because the kid in front of me is slow and coach won't do this and coach won't do that. He said, I'm not liking it. I said, okay, well, you don't have to play anymore, but you're going to finish this season. And if you give your word, you're going to do it.
Okay.
You know, that's some, you know, that's stuff that we were taught. And that's not being taught to kids is your word means a lot. And that's why I try to instill in my kids, your word means a lot. Sometimes that's all you have is your word. And if you say you're going to do something, you're going to finish it out. You may not do it again, but you're going to finish.
So that's a good point. Go ahead and finish. I was just saying that's really good. Go ahead.
It's basically what that is. We're not quitting.
Okay.
That's my way of helping my kids understand you're not a quitter. We're not going to quit.
Why do you think that's important to know, not to be a quitter?
Because people give up easy. I quit. It gets hard. I quit. Back to what you're saying. How you know if you can do it if you don't try? But if you quit, you'll never know. If you quit, you'll still be at the starting line.
Wow.
But if you try, you may get to second base. You may get first base, second base. You may hit a home run if you try.
Yeah.
You know. So I just want to. I like to teach my kids and any kid who wants to listen. You know, never quit. Your word is you know, all you have is your word, and don't quit.
Yeah, that's good. Yeah, that's a good point. You having me thinking about like when I think first of all, like Gianna, she didn't want to play softball. Ethan didn't want to play football, right? He wanted to play soccer, but you know, we have too many. I ain't gonna say too many, but we have a lot of kids, and we can't have them in different sports. You know, we can't get to practice, right? Well, we just told him, with Ethan, who's 7, we said we got to get you to you got to play whatever your brother's playing in that particular season, or vice versa. Okay, and so he began to play flag football, and he didn't know that he was going to enjoy it, and he ended up enjoying it, and couldn't wait to the next season to play, right? And which is not into a whole nother year, right? It's not like baseball in where it has every season. I mean, every semester, so to speak. Then Gianna, she didn't want to play any sports. Several years, it's been 2 years. She didn't want to play. She didn't want to play any sports. But you and I know, and my wife, we were talking about how the what sports does for you as an individual, right?
Oh,
it's not about the fact that you're going to make it to the league or anything like that. It's about character building, working with people, and also exerting some of that energy or frustration. Joshua, he enjoyed. I'm gonna get back to Gianna, but Joshua enjoyed football more than any other sport because he felt like he was able to unleash his anger in football. Right? And then Gianna, she didn't think that she would even like softball because she didn't want to play any sports. Well, she did her first season, she did okay. Went to her second season, which was not too long ago, which is in the fall. I don't know if I told you. I may have told you. I don't know, but I'll tell you again for whoever's listening that she played that season and she enjoyed it. Right, not just enjoyed it, but she said she wanted to, she wanted to do the season again. Right, and so we go to the season last semester, and she starts talking about she want to make this a thing to where she can get a scholarship to play softball. So she began to work at it a little bit more. And then she went from batting 9th to 4th within the season.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? So
she has a goal.
Yeah. So just saying that even sometimes we got to push them out there so that they can make them try, so they can even see. You know what I'm saying? Because I think that's a thing too that parents miss. Your kids saying they don't want to do it doesn't mean that they shouldn't do it. You know what I'm saying? You got to make sure that it's going to be. If you got to look at it from the end game, like you got to look at it from the end game to see is this going to be beneficial.
Yeah, I agree with you. Like with Tyler, we made him play flag football, but we gave him the choice after that because it was tackle. And I had seen some kids who don't want to play football end up getting hurt because they just don't want to be there, so they're not doing it right.
Right.
Tyler cried. He cried and cried when we said he's gonna play flag because he thought it was like he said, I'm not as good as Bubba, but he thought because he seen his brother playing tackle, and he thought it was tackle, but then he found out it was flag. He had a ball. He made new friends.
Yes,
it helped him with burn off some of that energy, get some discipline about himself, because you got to stand still. You got to remember stuff. You got to remember what to do. So it helped him. It helped him. It just helped. It helped him all the way around. It made him tougher. He got knocked down. I'm like, you all right? I'm good. Run back to the huddle. I mean, with sports, was it helped me tremendously. It helped me build character, toughness, the discipline. I know people were dependent on me.
I didn't think about that one.
Yeah, and friendships, bonds. It helped build me as an individual. And of course me and my dad had that bond through sports. Me and my friends had bond through sports. Like I said, I've just met different people. Even now, I'm not even playing, and sports has introduced me to a lot of people.
Yeah,
I've got to see a lot of people play. That are in the NBA. I was on the court refereeing their games.
No way.
And it's it's cool. Sports has been a big part of my life. I don't even know when I'm ever gonna stop being a part of sports. I can't, you know. I'm at my son's school games. No, I'm at my son's school game and I'm in the stands coaching. And I'm like, here I am, and I'm that parent now. You know, the one I hear in the stands talking about, I wish he'd shut up. Now I'm that parent. I'm like, oh man, you know. So now Tyler's going, Dad, just calm down. I got it. I was like, okay.
Oh, he told you that?
Oh yeah, he'll look at it. You know, me and his brother. Oh, we're coaching louder than his coach.
That's crazy, dude.
Yeah.
You can't do that.
His coach is like, man, we were trying to do something different. I said, I know, coach. I'll tone it down. I just, you know, I like to see my kids. If my kids are gonna go out there, you know, any parent, I want my kid to be the best.
Right.
You know, and I know what he could do. So I'm like, okay, why did you do so and so? I know you could do it. And he'll look at me like and shrug his shoulders or get, you know, he's like, well, Dad, I couldn't. Coach didn't want me. I said, man, look here. You better drive that ball to that basket. I don't care what coach said.
That's what's up. That brings us to this point where I'm going to ask you my questions. Okay,
all right.
You got to give me a number between 1 and 44.
One number?
Yeah, we're gonna do 3, but you're gonna give me the first number.
All right. Well, I'm gonna go with 25 because that's my dad's number. So I'm gonna go with that 25.
Okay. What do you remember most about being a teenager?
Man, it's a lot of stuff, you know. I mean, I mean, just hanging out playing basketball with my friends. You know.
Yeah. How long did when would you start and when would you finish
playing? Oh,
yeah, in a day. Like, let's say, what time did you start?
All day. I've gone all day. I've started maybe 10 in the morning, and on one court, and we may go end up sneaking on Baylor campus on one of their indoor gyms or outdoor courts and play till 8, 9 that night.
Ooh, you was getting it. That's what's up.
I wish it would have paid off and my game was better, but we were having fun.
That's what's up. Give me another number.
I'm gonna go with 15.
Okay. What are your favorite memories of family gatherings?
Man, just being together. I mean, being together, having fun, you know, playing, you know, whether it be I'm playing dominoes, or as a younger kid sitting and watching the older folks play dominoes, the food that would be there, man, just the whole event.
Yeah.
I mean, I can't on that point. I can't narrow it down. I just can't.
It's like I know what you mean. It's like this crazy vibe that you can't really put it in the words of what the feel. It's almost like a nostalgia.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's a family reunion every time.
Yeah.
I mean, that's what it is. That's what it is, because you know, you see people that you haven't seen in you know, months and you know, stuff like that. So yeah.
That's a good point. All right, give me the last number.
Let's go with 35.
Okay. Tell me about the three best decisions you've ever made.
One was moving to Dallas.
Okay.
It was like a new start. It's like a fresh, not that I was in trouble or anything, but it just felt like a new start.
Okay.
That, of course, getting married.
Yep.
And
you don't have to say kids or wife. You can give me, those are obvious.
Well, you know, if you don't throw the wife in there, you'd be in trouble.
Obvious.
Three, you know, I guess being a coach, working with kids, you know, it was a good decision. And you know, I don't know. I can't think of a third.
I love
I
asking
mean,
these
it's
questions.
so much. It's so many good decisions. I mean, it's kind of hard to narrow it down, but
Okay, well, give me one of the ones that you may be thinking about.
I'm gonna say, and it's kind of hard being a referee. It helped me grow. Because
okay. You got to break that one down.
Well, it's patience. It gave me patience. It gave me it helped me work on my communication skills because you have to communicate quickly with people.
Okay.
It gave me confidence in myself to go out and you can call them, some of the games will be big time games, and be able to make that call and be confident in myself and stand there, and no matter who, crazy parent was yelling at me, cussing me out, or what coach was threatening me or looking at me funny, to stand there and stand tall and say, yes, that was it. And it helped me build some thick skin. Ooh.
Wow. Okay.
It matured me as a man and an individual to go in that environment and to be able, like I say, stand there and stand tall and not wilt under the pressure.
That's dope.
So yeah, that's why I gotta throw that in there. I know it don't seem like much to some people, but it because if I would have done this at 25, I probably would have been in the stands jumping on somebody.
Okay, I got you. Golly.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's what's up. That's good. I really appreciate your time,
Mr. I appreciate it.
I'm gonna get it. I want to ask you I got two last questions.
Go ahead.
Ask you. One is, who would you say, which TV dad would you say you most resemble?
Oh man, I gotta go with Curtis Payne off the Pains.
What?
Okay. You got to come to my house. You got to interact.
It's not a bad thing. I didn't even think of him. Like I didn't even think of him in his dad. Go ahead. Explain.
I could be a jokester. I could once again, what comes in this head sometimes comes out my mouth.
Okay.
And I tend to make I get on my wife's nerve. I used to mess with her till she go, "You make me sick." I said, "Well, I can go to bed now." Okay. I do stuff like that. I mess with my kids. I wrestle with Tyler. I used to wrestle with Taylor.
Yeah.
I get on Brianna's nerves, meddling with her. So that's why I say that,
Okay. That's what's up. I didn't see that one coming. That's dope. I didn't see that one coming. And the last question is, what would you like for your kids to say about you? What would you want them to remember most about you? Either way, however you want to explain it.
Hey, if they just say, "Hey, that's my dad. That's my dad," and they don't have to say nothing, to grow up and be better than me. Take what my faults and my mistakes and what I've told you, and just be a better person. I don't want them to say nothing. Just be a better person. And if you do say something, go, "That's my dad."
That's dope. That's what's up. Well, I really appreciate it again. This has been an incredible interview. You've taught me a lot. Just being as far as like the patience thing has been kind of revealing to myself, and also the piece about being more of an encourager has been pretty dope. So I appreciate that. So you have the last words. What is it that you would like to say?
Well, first of all, man, I'd like to say thank you to you for allowing me to be on here to say what I want to, say these things. And if they're, to any parent or kid, I like to say, communication between each other is key. I'm not talking on a friend level, because there's times a parent is going to have to say and do things that the kid's not going to like. The parents not going to like them. But communication is key. Communication between adults, kids and adults, husband, wife is key. And I mean, that's what last thing I'd like to say.
That's what's up. Well, I appreciate the time, man. It's been real. It's been good for all those that are paying attention. Please like, share, comment, subscribe to the channel. And we out here. Deuces.
Peace. Appreciate it, man.
Absolutely.